Well, since the last time we did our filming last year for disability competition, I've had a lot more health difficulties to deal with. Over Christmas, I was in ICU for just over a week. I had major surgery done on my stomach. I had gangrene, large intestine, and I had to have that removed. And then they sewed whatever I had left to my small intestine. We did dialysis every day because my spirit was telling me that I needed it. And I'm very lucky that I did, otherwise I would have sadly passed away at home, the doctors said. So yeah, I was so grateful that I made it through that. I've got angels up there. Well, like I still do advocating in my community for a lot of my mob because of the lack of services that are still around. I still fight for country because native title is destroying my land and my people. It's really hard because I wish I could do a lot more. I used to go out and cook for the homeless. I can't even cook anymore, which is very hard because of my hands. And so this afternoon I've had to deal with a phone call from a client of mine. She's had a lot of stresses, especially around Homes West, dealing with a lot of issues around harassment, trying to get her house ready for her house inspection. I've been down a few times and advocated on her behalf. And a couple of years ago I actually went down to her house, learning the family how to declutter their house, learning just all the basics around basic care and hygiene and things like that there, what the department would be expecting. It's quite sad because she lost both her parents at a young age. You know, her history, she was placed into Nangala as a baby, and it was thank God that my grandparents had actually gone there and adopted her out of Nangala to look after her. We don't have any housing services that should be assisting our Aboriginal families, especially when they've got a lot of issues, systemic issues, and a lot of intergenerational trauma. Once we as Aboriginal people lose our identity, lose our connection to country, that's when we suffer with the illnesses that we suffer. When you look at the intergenerational trauma that we have suffered, and I have gone through that throughout my generation growing up. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. You know, my grandmother, my mum's mum, was born in Moore River Native Settlement. That was one of the very first concentration camps, I call it, set up here in Western Australia. My great-grandmother was taken there, both on my mum and dad's side. Nowadays you've got kids running amok on the streets. But why are those kids running amok on the streets? Well, because their parents couldn't look after them properly, because they had their issues that never got dealt with. So then why couldn't they be good parents? Because their parents had issues. So, you know, it's about generation to generation. We've got so many injustices placed on us. It's very hard, you know. When I see that bigger picture, how we need to make change, that's what gives me that strength to stand up and speak up.